Hey everyone, and now we're going to talk about some of the reactions with metals. We're going to look at 3 different set of reactions. So let's get started. Well, the first reaction we're going to look at is the reaction with acids. And metals react with acids to give salt plus hydrogen gas. Now let's take an example. Well, magnesium solid reacting with hydrochloric acid would give magnesium chloride as a salt plus hydrogen gas. Okay. Now let's move on to the reaction with oxygen or air. Now metals react with oxygen or air to give metal oxides only. Now let's take an example. Well, magnesium solid reacting with oxygen gas to give magnesium oxide solid. Now pay attention to this. Whenever you're writing a chemical equation or a chemical reaction, make sure to balance your equation first and put the states. The states are very important. Okay? Now, that's for the reaction with oxygen. Now, let's move on to the last set of reactions, and we're going to talk about water and steam. Well, steam has more energy than liquid water because it's in the gaseous state and the particles are free to move everywhere, and thus they have more energy. That's why if you have a boiling water in a pot and you put your hand above that pot, you will feel a burn on your skin. That's because the steam is hitting your skin with a very high amount of energy, thus causing a burn. So be careful, don't put your hand above any pots, but if it happens by mistake, then you thus feel a burn. Anyway, so let's talk about first reactive metals. So we're going to talk about reactive metals, and reactive metals are mainly from potassium to calcium in the reactivity series. And in this reaction, reactive metals react with water mainly, not steam. They react with water fast because they are reactive. And well, let's take an example. Well, reactive metals, denoted by Rm, react with water to give metal hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. Well, let's take an example. An example of a very active metal would be sodium. Sodium is the second in the reactivity series, reacting with water to give sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. Okay, now let's look at the reaction with moderately reactive metals. Well, moderately reactive metals react differently. And moderately reactive metals begin from magnesium. Okay, so moderately reactive metals, denoted by Mm, react with steam because they are less reactive to give metal oxide plus hydrogen. Now let's take an example. Well, magnesium solid reacting with steam would give magnesium oxide plus hydrogen gas. Now, let's recap. We talked about 3 different sets of reactions. The first one was the reaction with acids, metals with acids. And we said that the reaction with acids yield salt plus hydrogen gas. And this is often the reaction used in the laboratories to produce hydrogen gas. Now, the second thing we looked at is the reaction with oxygen. And oxygen is present in the air. So if we leave a piece of magnesium out in the open, it reacts with the oxygen, creating magnesium oxides. Now, lastly, we said Metals react differently with water and steam. Well, for reactive metals, they react faster with water to give metal hydroxide plus hydrogen gas, and moderately reactive metals react with steam to produce metal oxide plus hydrogen gas. Now, that's that for this video. I hope this was clear for you guys, and these are not the only reactions with metals, but these are the ones you're responsible for. So I hope this was clear, and thanks for watching.